Africa is the fastest growing continent in the world. Its population, cities, and strategic importance are expanding rapidly. It's a continent on the move. But how much influence does the United States actually hold in Africa? And what happens if our government cuts aid and engagement even more? The recent cutting off of USAID programs to Africa is also a devastating blow, both from a humanitarian and relationship perspective. Foreign assistance is not only a charitable act, it's security, access, and soft power. We once had a bipartisan understanding that these are programs which help numerous people in the African continent. Programs like PEPFAR save millions of lives while building government-to-government ties. After the 2023 coup, Niger's new junta formally asked both the United States and France to withdraw their troops. For the American side, we were forced to close a key drone hub in Niger, which was targeting terrorist groups. French troops were also pulled out of Mali. This ended decades of Western military cooperation in the Sahel. Russia's Africa Corps quickly stepped into the gap while France wound down its last counterterrorism missions in the region. China has deepened its foothold in Eastern Africa with railways and its first overseas base in Djibouti. This is a new competition for influence, and the U.S. is playing catch-up. Surveys across 30 African countries reveal shifting perceptions. Many view China, Russia, regional bodies, and some see the United States positively. But the U.S. is not number one. China now edges others in perceived positive influence. Africans welcome engagement from both the U.S. and China if it brings jobs and infrastructure. Through its One Belt, One Road initiative, China finances ports, railways, power projects, and runs a base in Djibouti. Russia's African Corps partners with juntas in the Sahel and the Central African Republic. Turkey forges defense and maritime agreements, especially in Somalia. Gulf states including the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia invest heavily in ports, logistics, and influence in Sudan. India is expanding trade, technology, and education ties across the continent. Europe, especially France, has largely retreated after setbacks in the Sahel. Meanwhile, U.S. insults and missteps from both political parties have undermined influence. In 2018, Donald Trump infamously referred to African nations as S countries, drawing global condemnation. He later mocked African countries again, saying nobody had heard of Lesotho. He also made a patronizing remark to Liberia's president, Joseph Numa Boakai Sr., praising his good English due to his own lack of basic knowledge. On the Democratic side, Vice President Kamala Harris immediately foregrounded LGBTQ+ rights in Uganda. While equality is an important issue, critics argue that starting with such a sensitive topic without first building diplomatic rapport risks alienating her hosts. Our leaders don't even bother to do their homework on even the most rudimentary facts about the local culture of each country and area. Our troops do much better, but the closure of Air Base 201 and the departure of troops symbolized how quickly U.S. leverage can evaporate when relationships are not deeply rooted. When we cut or let programs lapse, we weaken our influence and let competitors define the narrative. How can the U.S. regain influence in Africa? First, reauthorize PEPFAR and expand long-term health and workforce partnerships. Second, modernize trade by updating and extending AGOA with clear reinstatement rules and support for small businesses. Third, deliver on summit pledges. Over $65 billion has been committed since the 2022 U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit. Make those results visible. Fourth, compete in infrastructure. Build energy corridors, data cables, ports, and green zones with African co-financing. Fifth, prioritize security on African terms, maritime security, cyber partnerships, and counterterrorism with coastal countries. Finally, lead with respect, consistent, dignified language, and reliable attendance at African Union and regional meetings. When the U.S. steps back, others will move in. But if the U.S. engages smartly, steadily, and respectfully, we can reduce these risks. We can build trust and create partners who choose America not out of fear, but because we deliver. Influence follows trust. Trust follows delivery. We must treat African countries and the continent with respect if we expect their partnership as well. Thank you.